content that was not available in Python that's available in majority of the other programming languages is a switch case statement. This can be very useful where there are multiple case results and you need to pick between a certain one instead of using multiple if-else statements. In this video, I will go through how to use the switch case statements in specifically Python. A thing to keep note of is that this feature is only available in Python version 10 plus. So if you're using an older version, it is most unlikely not going to work. And once you've made the upgrade, then you can continue with this video. There is a function in the switch case statement that does not work with the previous versions but works with 10 plus. So firstly, we'll be doing an error code sample, which will make sense the more we go into it. So I'm going to start with a simple, just asking the user for an input. So code equals to input enter error code. Error code. So obviously, this asks the user to input a specific value, assuming they put in the value. Next, we'll be creating the actual different cases for the different different error codes. So match, this is the function that's not available in previous versions of Python. Int code. Now, so what this does is just inputs the value they take, so code, just puts it into the function. Let's say case 100, right? We wanted to print continue. Let's say case 200, we wanted to print accepted. So as you can see here, both cases prints out an output. It has a result. Now let's say case 400 and 401. So in this case, if the user inputs a 400 or 401, it will output the same result. So print quote bad request and unauthorized. And then let's make, there we go. And let's make one case where, for any other result. So if I put underscore, that basically means it will, anything that's not in the case, will print it out. So print, let's say, error code not recognized. There we go. Now, let me just save this, and let's run this. Oh, it seems to take a minute. There we go, run error code. So now if I put 100, continue, seems to work fine. If I type in, say, 400, bad request and unauthorized, let's try 401. Oh, bad request, unauthorized, perfect. And let's just try a different code that's not on the list. Error code not recognized. So this is a good way to use, instead of if else multiple times. With a case statement, you have specific cases, and obviously this can be used in many other ways. And if you want to read a value that's set as a variable, which we will see in the next example, which is error message. Oops. There we go. So next, we will use the switch case method to read some information and print out an output. So let's start with a simple variable. So let's message equals to error found. So let's say you did a program, and so in this case, I'm just creating a variable called message with error found. This could be different, where you wrote a program and returns an error found message, or returns an error found message. So I'm just going to add like a quick if statement just to check if the message is a digit. So if message dot is digit, response equals to Now use the curly brackets data message and else. We do response equals to error. I forgot about the curly brackets. So what this does is, if the message is a string, so it's not a value or digit, it assigns it to the error variable. And let's say if it was a digit, it assigns to like a date, or sorry, not date, I meant data. And you'll see why this becomes important. Let's create the match statement. So match response and case. If the case was the same error, message, and there we go. I wanted to print error MSG. There we go. So what this does is, if it's associated with this error message, then it will print error and the message that we got from here. Now let's say if it was case data, data, and you print out the data, and you'll see what happens next. Print, I can't be forgetting the semicolons. Print received data. So now, if I have the message as error found, and I run it, it prints out error found. So for example, it would be a little redundant, but this would make more sense. File not found. Since it is a message, not like a value or digit, it associates with the response equals to error message, and then it'll go into the case where error, and it reads in the message and it prints the message with the new error. Now let's say this was a 15, or 65. Right? We run the program. I get a result of 65. So now run the program. I get received data 65. So what in this case is, it checked if it's a digit associated with the data, took the message, we checked which case it applies to, which is this data, and then it collected the value from the message here and printed it along with received data. So obviously in this case I printed those values, but when you're working on a program, this could be done in many other ways. Instead of printing it, you could assign it to a different function. If it's a value, take the value, do this. If it's this, take the value, do this. It's much more organized, and then instead of having it if else multiple times. And you could use this again for many other reasons if you want to find the maximum number in a list, or that's just one quick example off the top of my head. But there are multiple examples to switch case statements. So as you can see, this is how a switch case statement can be used in Python. If you're going back to the error code, you need to, or just in both in general, you need to make sure Python version's about 10 plus. That's very mandatory since it is a new feature just for Python version 10. Second, you need to set a variable, which can be either a hard-coded statement, a user input, or a value, or a string, or variable, something that we can use to push through the match function. Then so next is then use the match function to match that variable or that string or whatever you found with any of those cases. So here we had the code which we could have matched with any of the cases. Here was just a string that we matched with either data or an error, and then that could be used to further alter your result. So that was just a quick summary of how to use the switch case statements, and And I hope this works and you guys will be able to make different versions or different programs using the switch case method. So yeah, I hope this video is helpful, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Take care, guys.